Good morning and welcome to this service of Unity of Bernie. We're tuning in online and I'm so glad you're here. But if you really want to get the feeling of what's going on right now, I'd invite you, if you're able, to join us any Sunday at 11 o'clock. Today we'll be talking about negative thinking, positive thinking, living a life dedicated to purpose, all kinds of good things that we'll be exploring. So I'm so glad you tuned in. And if this is a blessing to you, and so many of you have told me to do, I invite you to send your gift. Well, you can press the PayPal button that's at the bottom of the page, and you can send your gift to P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. Again, that's Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. Our gifts would be so very much appreciated. This is the place, this is the time. You are digitally in the house of love. So welcome to you. And as I say so many times, people still continue to come in. Come and join the family.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bernie. We're going to start our service this morning. We're going to stand. Gage, we're going to sing something. All right, let's do it.
Okay, sweet hour of prayer.
All right.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, enfolded in the presence prayer of one who fills with truth and light, the one who works with wondrous might. The stillness of this silent hour brings peace, goodwill, and conscious power. The time of silence is to me eternal joy and harmony. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, in love with all men everywhere. The universe is but the whole of all that is in man's pure soul. Through Christ the truth I now behold, the brotherhood of man unfolds. Man thinks this loving thought and feels the beauty Christ the truth reveals. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, into the secret place repair. I feel that quickening life of thine, and know that thine is also mine. The light of truth is now revealed. I sing with joy, for I am healed. The glory of the Lord I've seen, and one with him I'll ever serene.
Well, good. While you're sitting down, find somebody near you and say, you look marvelous. You look marvelous.
Oh, well, you look okay. Wow, beyond marvelous. Maybe they're working on the muscles.
Yeah. So, I have some messages for you this morning. How are we doing on knee time? It looks pretty good to me out there. Not bad. More than half, probably. I usually forget this one. I don't see anybody new, so I think we're all friends here, right?
Where's your friend, Esther?
Oh, is there somebody new I can know about? Refer to your order of service for all of our ongoing classes and activities. Everybody knows mostly about those. Some are in person, some are on Zoom, but all the login information is all found in your service. It's also on our website and on our Facebook page. Remember our basket outside for our goods for Brent Family Services. I didn't check it. We took it relatively soon, or we took it recently, so there should be room for us to fill that up again. We're doing pretty good in that. Sometimes we sort of forget, but we've been okay there. What else? Emails, you know all about that. If you want to read the daily word or you want to be a worship assistant, there's a sign-up sheet on the back. There's all a bunch of nice people out here, so you don't have to worry about, sometimes it's not so fun to stand in front of people, right? It's some people's big phobias, but look at the nice people. And so, it's a good way to share yourself with the congregation and get to know people, so think about it. If you haven't done it before, give it a try. I'm going to move on unless somebody knows something that I don't. Oh my gosh, here we go. We got the daily word. Pat Parton's going to come up and read.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers around the world. The church, the Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word today is divine order. I see divine order expressing everywhere. I delight in the glorious colors, fragrances, and arrangement of plants in a garden. I celebrate the imagination, the meticulous planning, and the diligent work that transformed a patch of ground, some seeds, water, and fertilizer into a beautiful, life-filled place. I recognize the role of divine order in the creation of this garden, expressing through everyone who worked to bring it into being. It began as an idea in divine mind. Someone received the idea. Cooperating minds developed a plan. Willing hands prepared soil, planted seeds, and then watered and tended the growing plants. My spiritual vision perceives divine order, the eternal dance of mind, idea, and manifestation expressing everywhere. The Bible verse today is from Genesis 1, verse 31. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Again, the daily word today is divine order. If you would feel comfortable to say the affirmation with me. I see divine order expressing everywhere. My name is Pat Parton, and thank you for worshiping at Unity of Burning. Thank you, Pat.
Very good.
We even have the old person big burden up here, so no reading classes necessary. So. We're going to stand for our miracle moment together. So we can affirm that together. In the
Infinity of life
where I am, God flows to me as I open my heart in an attitude of receptivity, releasing the lesser and claiming the greater. I am calm, confident, resolute, anticipating abundant blessings, and so it is.
All right, we're going to stay right there. We're going to do our celebration song.
Okay, there shall be showers of blessing.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessings, showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops endless are falling, but for the showers we need. There shall be showers of blessing, precious refining again, over the hills and the valleys, sound of abundance of rain. Showers Showers of blessing, send them upon us, O Lord. Grant to us now a refreshing, coming now honor thy word. Showers of blessings we need. Blessings come round us are calling, shine for the showers we need.
Very well done. Stay there for a minute. We're going to do our opening prayer together. Unity of burdens by memory.
Loving spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Please be seated. So I know everybody's got a prayer card in their order of service. We'll give you a minute to fill those out. The prayer team prays them here for a week. We'll send them off to each side of the meeting for 30 days. But sometimes we think of prayers as things that we're asking for or wishing for, but there's celebrations as well. And the prayer team would love to hear celebrations from you all. So if you've got something good that you need to celebrate, that's the time to do it that way as well. It looks like Shay's filling the box up.
Good morning. If any of you have not written on your prayer card that's in the middle of the bulletin, if you would like to, I'll take a moment for you to finish it. And at this time, tell you that I appreciate so much your prayers for my mother-in-law, who is in the process of making her transition in Columbus, Georgia. Her condition remains the same, and I know that your prayers are with her, Janet, and the entire family. My stepchildren visited here just not too long ago. I think some of you all met them. And I just ask that you surround them with all the love that you can. This is a difficult time for all of us. And so if there are no other prayer requests to place in this box, then I'd ask us to do what we do so well and enter into an attitude of prayer right now, which is really not a position so much, it's a disposition. There have been times been said that there are times that whatever the position of a person, the soul is on its knees. Sometimes people carry problems and pains and heartaches, and they don't always share them, but they know them in the inside. And we right now send our love to cover that, as well as joys and celebrations and all the permutations of the human experience in between. Loving infinite presence, we give thanks for the truth of our being, which is you. In you, there is nothing unlike the good that we wish to experience. We align ourselves with that right now. There are people right now who are facing all manner of things of the human experience. We declare the truth about them. We know that as we believe in our own minds, we align ourselves in purpose, and it is done to us as we believe. We know we have a choice. We choose the greater. We choose to see you at work, taking care of every need. Your eye is on the sparrow, including the sparrow of human consciousness. With mustard seed faith, we allow the life-healing grace of your touch to come into us and to touch those who need it the most right now. We give thanks that your will is being done. We declare that this is so, and so it is. Amen.
Okay, so the special music is the prayer of St. Francis. And there's a couple of lines in here, make me a channel of your peace. And where there's an eclipse, only light. I mean, where there is darkness, only make me a channel of your peace. there is darkness, only light, and where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It isn't pardoning that we are part, in giving to all men that we receive, and in loving that we're born to eternal life. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, through faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace.
So today happens to be so birthdays, anniversaries. I met somebody new. You still have somebody old. Oh my gosh, there's one. Yeah. All you blessed people, no?
You're not old. David, you're a kid.
There's one I got.
Thank God.
I got some guilt working. Oh, I got another guilty one.
Guilt everybody out.
Not too bad. You coming? Everybody thinking about it? All right, your name.
Well, Sherry.
Sherry. What do you
Yes.
celebrate?
Well, I am celebrating the birth of my 13th great nephew.
13 great nephew. That's crazy.
I know, it makes me feel, wow.
Your name, sir, Mr. Blue Tag.
My name is David. It says so right
It
here
does.
on my tag.
You celebrate.
I'm celebrating my 76th birthday.
What?
76. 76.
Yay!
Tomorrow.
I thought you said
And
106.
I am so happy that the universe has given me a birthday party. The birthday party is tomorrow. Everybody's invited. But presents are allowed.
All right, young man.
Okay.
Your name.
My name is Rick.
Rick, what are you celebrating?
As usual, I'm just celebrating the wonderful gift of being able to come to this wonderful little church with all the nice little people in it. And it's just so friendly and loving. I just love it. Yeah, and I think of all the little souls that were in here when they went to the school, when this was a little school for the pioneers. And it's just such a nice feeling. And I have so many things to celebrate. I'll have to make a list and mail it to you. Anyways, thank you all.
Your name.
Lydia.
Lydia, what are you celebrating?
Well, I'm celebrating life too, but birthday next week.
All right. Happy birthday.
Where were you born?
Here.
Here.
San Antonio.
Oh, good. Good. All right. Which one would you like? Your name.
I'm Maria,
What do you celebrate?
and it's interesting that you said you're celebrating life, because that is what I wanted to celebrate. I celebrate life, I celebrate the gift of rejuvenation, and I celebrate the gift of fellowship. Those three things.
Awesome. So let me tell you, between me, Maria and between Ann, they both get our prayer boxes it's kind of we don't think about it very much, but every week they're very beautiful. They read the prayer box and
Lord and Sherry.
Sherry too, worship.
Sherry.
So we don't recognize it enough, and so it's a lot of work, and it's really a big help for the congregation. It's a big thank you. All right, hold your hands up, these fine people. Wave your fingers. Say, we honor your celebrations.
We honor your celebrations.
And you're assured the best is yet to come.
And we're sure the best is yet to come.
77?
Yeah. You can put them back, but you gotta take them.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Bible.
In the midst of his
Children,
the
Lord
Lord
said he would be.
it
Doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit
that I've
felt oft times before. Surely I can say
I have
been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Right now, we center ourselves in the presence of love that is inside each and every one of us, accessible when we allow it to be. And at this time, every Sunday, in our service, we allow this. We let our light shine because we are love. We're God's perfect idea. And in this time of meditation, contemplation, or visualization, we actualize ourselves by realizing the truth of our being. So with our feet on the floor, perhaps our hands in our laps, palms upraised. As I always say, you can feel the energy in your hands. It's always just there. It's almost like a buzzing. And that is the creative life force. That is the presence of God in you and me as a physical manifestation. But we, right now, tune into that non-physical presence that we know is with us every minute of every day, doing 100 things or more in our bodies to sustain us. The acts of digestion, breathing, whatever it may be, it lives us. And and we align with this perfect life force right now, we feel relaxed as we breathe deeply and rhythmically. We breathe in the life force. We exhale all sense of upset or negativity or things we have experienced this week that are on our minds. They are released right now into the vast nothingness from which they came. We bless what was there to teach us, whether it was a form of a human being or a situation, whatever it may be. We bless the lesson that came to us. And so we can release it now. In this wonderful time, in the presence of perfect love that is us, we claim renewed health of mind, of body, of emotions. We recognize that the life force is for us. And we make use of it by the way we think. And we choose to think in the highest way right now, the most loving way that we know. Our inner master teacher is right beside us. We feel even more receptive as we align inside with the truth of who we are, the truth we celebrate, the truth we talk about every week here. Knowing that we're God's perfect idea, we express our ideas in line with those. In the silence, we forgive ourselves or others, or both. We know what we need to release. We know because it hurts to hold on. And there is no hurt in the presence of love. The energy of the divine is with us now. It courses through us and it makes all things new, including us. We're refreshed, we're renewed, we are reinvigorated as we release the lesser and claim the greater and prepare for life more abundant. We are not forgiven because we were never blamed. Perfect love casts out all fear, and now, in this very instant, we claim that promise. We know the truth. We're reminded of it once again. And in this time of recreation in the very depths of our soul, we are in agreement with what truth says about us. We are set up to walk in newness of life right now. And we do. And we give thanks for this moment and declare it is so. Amen. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad that you're with us today. And those of you who are tuning in online, it's wonderful that you're back with us. We love for you to come if you're able. It's just a wonderful place where we celebrate love and new possibilities and wonderful things. This morning I'd like to talk to you about a title. You heard me mention it if you were here a couple of weeks ago. What the title is you can't afford the luxury of negative thought. And I told you, and if you weren't here, I'll just say recap real quick. The author and I were friends, and we worked together, and I traveled to different cities before I was a minister, selling this book and doing seminars with him, and also by myself, whatever we could to put forth the ideas that I thought were so wonderful in a book called You Can't Afford the Luxury of Negative Thought. And his mother, the author's name is Peter McWilliams, his mother has graciously given me the rights to this book to teach, to recreate it if I so wanted. Anyway, she said, it's yours. You're like my other son. I love her so much. She's 100 years old and doing as well as you can expect with that. Her attitude is just wonderful. So I wanted to revisit not so much the book, you can read that, the contents of it. I wanted to talk about the title. And I wanted to talk about it being deceptively simple, but it has a great deal of truth to it, especially in light of today when we're studying things like neuroplasticity. When we are studying the idea of actually making new neural patterns in our brains by the way we think. You know, the thing about affirmations, a lot of people have an uneasy relationship with them. I think they're wonderful things, but they really have to line up with what you deeply believe. The universe doesn't take you at what you say. It takes you at what you mean inside. You can say all kinds of things. I could stand up here and say all kinds of grandiose things, but I know down deep the reality of certain things in this existence. I mean, we have to be, and this is sometimes used as an excuse to be negative, we have to be realistic. But being realistic, there's nothing wrong with that because there are plenty of possibilities right where we are to increase our growth, to grow into people that we were meant to grow into. We came here with a set of instructions that was designed for our higher good so that we could evolve as a soul. And I believe that there are certain groups of people that assist us in that. And as we move through our life, no matter what it is that we're called on to face, I think we can all agree that it's going to go better. We're going to do more, and with a good attitude if we are open and receptive to the positive energy that comes to us, positive ideation. Now, a lot of people will take this creative life force that I talk about, implant the ego with that, and have a million grievances, and they're happy to tell you about them. As I've said before, it's called the Ain't It Awful Club. It's done happy hour from 5 to 6 in many parts of this country, where people get together and complain about how bad it is and, quote, drown their sorrows and then repeat the next day and wonder why life isn't full of the pure promise and wonderful goodness that they have heard distantly that it can be. So let's divorce ourselves from the book for a moment and focus on the title. Why is negative thinking called a luxury? And when I first came here and did a book study on this book, we define negative thinking as a luxury because sometimes it just feels so good to get our teeth into those emotions or sometimes those people that we feel need to be talked about, that need to live rent-free in our minds. We think they need to be because if we just turn the situation over and over and over again, it must come out differently. but it doesn't. Whatever it is that we're thinking about happened, and it was meant to pass, not to stay. And by our own egoic actions, we hold on to those things, and not realizing that as we do that, we're forming the neural pathways that say, I want more of this. Would you like what you're thinking right now to be outpictured immediately? And the good news about that is there's a certain grace between thought and creation. So we do have an opportunity to step back and say, do I really want to have what is in my mind right now outpictured into my life and my affairs? This is something for you to think about this morning. The luxuriating in the things that hurt, while for a moment can give us a sugar rush, a dopamine high. It always crashes in the end. I don't know about you, but I remember when I was a kid and I, imbibed, I guess, on all the sugar that I could, or that I was allowed, or I got away with where they didn't see. I remember that those mornings and afternoons were wonderful till about 4 o'clock, and I just became crashingly tired. And there was a price to pay for that, even as a child. And there's a price for us to pay for wallowing in, identifying with, or holding on to grievances and things that were meant to be released. They came for our growth. How do you know that they were for your growth? Because they were in your path. And even if you set it up, even if you were the one that think you made all the mistakes that brought you where you are, it was still for your own good. This is not a surprise to the universe. You are not a surprise to God. You are growing into godhood. We all are. And that's an awesome and mighty responsibility. I like to talk about the idea of this negative thinking as the thought, belief, behavior, and results. And I like it in that order. So I went to look it up. The thoughts lead to the beliefs, which lead to the behavior in a circle. You can start anywhere you want. Thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, results. You can start with results and then go thoughts and just keep bringing it up. You can start any place you want in that circumlocution of ideas. It is what we do and call it living. And the reason that I think Peter called negative thinking the luxury is because, like I mentioned about the sugar, it feels good for a moment. But after a while, we begin to get the crashing come down. And we look for someone or something to blame, something new. And then we set another cause into action. We produce results by the way we think, and we think if it's not something I'm really concentrating on, then it doesn't really matter. No, every thought you think is forming a pathway in your brain. Every thought you think is being remembered by your own body. Every thought you think goes out in a subtle way to those who are receptive with those thoughts, and you meet very often yourself in the form of other people. So what I'd ask for you today is to reset your mental slate, or to clean your mental slate from the idea of luxuriating in anything that is less than the best. Now, how do you know when something needs your attention versus something that's just hanging around in your mind because you want it there, because you don't want to release it and forget it? How do you know? You go inside and you ask your teacher. And if you're not comfortable with that, you sit in the silence and you step back and you ask that self of yours that you know, the one that you listen to, the one that protects you from danger. We all have that voice. We sit there and ask, let it be made known to me my next step. One more thing. Let it be known to me my next step. And I ask this for the highest good of all concerned. Now you've paved the way with not only a new intention, but with grace. The idea that you're willing to release your idea about how things should turn out. You're willing to go with the flow, be part of the Tao. However you want to explain it, you are set up in a different way to experience good. This is what our truth teachers talked about so many years ago. This is what Christ Jesus talked about 2,000 and some odd years ago. Remember in John 18:37, to this end was I born, to bear witness to the truth. And to this end you were born, to bear witness to the truth. We are scared to death to stand in the Christhood of our being. It would be so much easier, as I've talked about, it seems to be so much easier to fall down and worship this person called Jesus Christ and say, I'm worshiping God, and for a few emotional moments, and then walk away and do what we want to. It's far easier to do that than listen to that still small voice every moment that is telling you what you need to know. But sometimes you just don't want to hear it. I know that when I have been upset in my life, and that used to be more back a long time ago than it is now, I didn't want anyone to come and tell me something positive or to get me out of the state. I wanted to luxuriate in that negativity because it felt good. I was crashing my own self in doing this because it never changed anything. It led to depression, anxiety. Depression and anxiety are about the past. And in the future, when you carry those two things over the future, you're poisoning your life. You're poisoning the present. So if you're trying to carry that and you're doing affirmations at the same time, you're short-circuiting yourself. You're not getting the most out of your experience in life. And after all, in truth, what do we talk about? We talk about living a life more abundant and experiencing the truth in a new and wonderful way. Seeing yourself with kind eyes. Seeing yourself the way that you most want to be. We're here to transcend the law of the jungle in this world, not make a religion of it. We're here to transcend the laws inside ourselves that we have set up, that humans have set up, that those around us set up, that told us how we were supposed to be from the very beginning, what was acceptable, what comprised us. We were told in large part what we were going to be before we could even choose it. But the truth, the wonderful promise is we have an opportunity by a choice. No matter where we are, when it is in our life, we have a choice we can make again. We can drop the luxuriant feelings of the circumlocution of negativity and say, I may not know what is going to happen, but I'm willing to walk out of this. And that very willingness, the willingness to do, creates the ability to do. I mean, notice how difficult it is when you're unwilling to do something and you have to do it. But even if you sigh, take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm ready to walk into it, it's even better. But when you say, I'm ready to tackle this because there's obviously something I need to learn from this situation, then you're really walking into it with power. Do you see the gradations we have here? It's not the fact that God withholds love and support and all those things from us on case of situations. We withhold it from ourselves by walking up to the fountain of grace with either a thimble or a barrel, or say, it's only limited by our ability to receive. And that is what truth teachers have taught since the very beginning. This is what we celebrate here, the miracle of new life. Knowing that we are human, knowing that we're human, fully human, but we're fully divine. And the marriage of those two ideas is a lifetime situation. It calls for the deepest and best in us. And it certainly calls for us to drop our small-minded ideas and our hurts and our pains and our upsets. Now, that doesn't mean to do what I've heard termed as spiritual bypassing. If something is there and hurting you and it's in your consciousness, then you need to explore that. And you need to see what that means for you, but to know that it did not come to define you Only you can make that definition. Only you are the one who's going to declare yourself the period after your name, the finished product. You come here, and hopefully you hear ideas about new life and new ways of thinking. You hear that we're studying books that are on the cutting edge of what's new as far as the ideas of self-realization, self-actualization, all those things that we celebrate. And as I'm encouraged to read in books about neuroplasticity right now, they are confirming and affirming what truth teachers 120, 130 years ago said. As you change your thoughts, you truly change your life. The things that hurt you did not come to break you. It sounds almost hackneyed, but they came to make you. To make you what? To give you something in your soul that you didn't have before you showed up here. To hone something inside you that you need or that someone else needs that is with you. We are all students and teachers of one another. And ultimately, no matter what the situation is, the answer to all the questions, here's the ultimate cheat sheet about universal examinations. The answer is always love. You gotta love it. You gotta love that person. You gotta love yourself, knowing that if you had known better, you would have done better. You have to be willing to realize that this moment is new, and you have the opportunity to walk into this newness of life. In His presence, this is what Scripture says about Jesus Christ, in His presence was the fullness of life. Think about that. And we say so many times, especially people in church say, oh, that's wonderful, that was so great for back then. They don't claim it now. And we claim it now. We believe in the new life now. We believe, hopefully we believe, that the luxuries that we have gotten, that we've held on to, that we've held on to in our minds that we thought gave us a false sense of life, that we can release those. I hope that you can do that prayerfully, whatever it takes to walk away from them and know that they were not there for your ultimate good. They are there for your ultimate growth. You are a work in progress. You have every right to be patient with yourself. But don't drag your feet. There's an old saying, you can't help the birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building a nest on your head. And we so many times welcome the negativities. I've seen people, they just run to the negative. Not only have I seen it in happy hour, not only have I seen it in places where you wouldn't think people would want to do it, I've seen it almost haloed in certain churches. Why do we want to hold on to the things that hurt? Gives us a false sense of life. Gives us a certain excitement. Let me go back a little bit to the neuroplasticity. We have adrenal glands here. We have some chemicals inside ourselves called oxytocin, vasopressin, testosterone, progesterone. All these things create feelings in us. Have you ever walked in someplace that you were excited to be and you felt just that little feeling in your stomach? It's like, wow, that's that shot of adrenaline. Go back far enough and you'll know that's the fight or flight syndrome. That's what saved us when we were running from the tigers, saber-toothed tigers and bears in the infancy of our race. And we still carry it with us. Those chemicals can be very addictive. We get used to being on point, on guard, and not at peace. And the way to neutralize those chemicals, the way to make your life what you want it to be, is to forgive yourself, forgive others, and love what is in front of you. I didn't say like it. It's going to be very difficult to like some things that come your way. But if you love it, at least you can apply your own understanding and say, I don't understand why this showed up, or maybe you do. But if you don't understand it, you can say, I don't know why this showed up, and I don't know why I find myself necessarily in this position, but I know the universe, I have a place in the universe, I have a place in the plan, and I accept it, and I walk joyfully into new life. That's not Pollyanna, that's common sense. Pollyanna would try to turn away and say, oh, this isn't happening, it's not happening, I'm not here, etc. No. You fully acknowledge what's going on, but you acknowledge your own power to choose and change the way you think about what you're going through. And when you do that, magic happens. The thoughts, beliefs, results, circle that goes round and round begins to work for you. Instead of giving you that familiar misery. And a lot of people like it because at least it's familiar. At least they can count on these old thoughts to keep them company. I know you've known people like that. I've known people like that. As a pastoral counselor, I've seen them across the desk from me. They do anything but give up their hurt and their harm at the hands of somebody else. They don't want to release that identity as a harmed, upset, fill in the blank person. It's so interesting to our egos to carry a story in. And it's so magnificent, though, when we're able to transcend that story, see it a different way, and know that it came in some way, even though we can't understand it right now, it came in some way to help us grow, not to destroy us, not to make us be taken down into the muck and mire of negativity. This morning, I ask you if you're luxuriating anything, or our online community, if you're luxuriating in any thoughts that don't bring you peace and joy at the end of the day, I invite you to release them. Release them lovingly into the ocean of the love of God. And some people out here, I don't think necessarily in this church, some people tune in so they don't even believe in God necessarily. I say, that doesn't matter, God believes in you. You're not a surprise. And God isn't somebody that you have to cajole, hold on to, say, you know, I'll do better, I'll be better. This isn't about ego. This is about aligning with your soul's purpose. This is about a new life. This is about walking in a new direction. The ego is good for a lot of things that we do in this world. Keeps us from walking out into the street against a red light. Keeps us from crossing the path of animals, you know, that may hurt us in the jungle, whatever. These are things that are part and parcel of being human. But when it comes to interpersonal relations, one with another, egos cause all kinds of problems. And that's a luxury we can't afford, especially as we go into this new millennium. Hopefully as new people that have learned something from what we've lived, I hope we realize that not only we can't afford the luxury of a negative thought, we must be the change we wish to see. So not only do we release that thing that I'm talking about, whatever it may be, but we realize to be something new, we have to embody that first in our minds. Water that vision like you do your garden. See yourself at your best and drop those things that hurt. I know it's difficult, and I know it feels sometimes like they're getting away with it. I'm letting somebody off the hook that didn't ask me. Think about that for a minute. How many times maybe have you been let off the hook for something that you did that didn't necessarily come back to you? We so many times, the ego wants to keep a score. Love doesn't keep score. Love only is, and it only accepts. It warms, it renews, it comforts, it strengthens. It's what is. It is the ground of our being. May you enjoy the luxury of a new life this morning and walk forward into blessings, knowing that the very good of the universe is behind you with every step you take. God bless you, each and every one. Now we get the opportunity to put the blessed law of life into circulation here. We know that as we give, we receive. And you know, somebody told me that means that when I give to the church is going to give back to me. Well, I hope so. I hope we give in every way, but that's also called outlining. When you give, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come from the place you're receiving. It's not going to come from the place that you gave. It means you have opened up a pathway in your mind of giving spirit, the energy of giving, and you have set yourself in a way for blessings to come from any source, from many sources you may not even know about right now. This is what you activate when you give. I ask you to give the best gift that you're able to give this morning. And when I first introduced us today, I told you about pressing the PayPal button and sending it into us. I ask you again, give your best gift of what you're able. Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. I'm glad that all of you tuned in this morning. Blessings to you. And to you, your best gift to keep this wonderful ministry working. We have so many right now. I'd like to say something about that before I close our church today. So, Javier, come forward and thank you for your generosity.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. All that I give and receive.
Together we say our blessing for increase. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love. Just 1 second. I'd like to tell you all before the service closes how much I appreciate your tithes and offerings, and those of you who've sent them in, what they mean to the ministry of this church. Do you know what we're doing in outreach right now online? Our Course in Miracles class has doubled. We have a Monday evening book study. We have a Wednesday evening Course in Miracles study group, and we have a Thursday evening Pathlighters that we've done now for more than 3 years. And it is attracting many people. It's because of your gifts and your support and your love that we're able to do this. And I just wanted to take a personal moment to thank you for helping us reach those who may never walk in our doors. I wish you would, because you'd love it if you're able to. But there are those that are participating with us, and we have wonderful online presence. And thank you for help making that a reality. Blessings to you.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Together we stand and join hands, and we feel comfortable in doing so.
Now we hope things good.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, accept what's meant to be with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say the light of
God
God.
surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Namaste.
Another good sign, especially with you.
How are you today?
Better now than I Yeah, I can't talk about that one, and I just, this music just no, that would be a surprise, right? But now that I'm home, I realize that I have been using it all around, but everybody gets that. Dude, greatest thing to do. They don't need to look around when it's so I use it if you want to. And what do you think about that? What a special time that we have every week. There's a certain sense of presence and togetherness right here. It's what I felt the day I walked in here now. It really is something to feel this love, to feel this sense of togetherness. And I myself think that it's something that anybody would enjoy. Come and check it out, and let me know how it works for you. I'll be here. I'll be one of those people who would, hey, glad you could make it. And we will be. We're glad you made it today, and the weather it's important. So until the next time we get together, by all means, have a most wonder-filled sense of great joy and appreciation for where you've come from to where you are now. You understand that implies your future is bright and just burgeoning with more truth, more love, more a sense of who you are in God's creation. Thank you from all of us. I want to be a brother. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now. Yeah, you can tell.